Innovation thrives in Umeå, in the buzzing Arctic region. Maybe it's because we always relied on each other.
We understood early the importance of connectivity and digitalization.
Well, Umeå is incredibly compact as an ecosystem, and yet within this small ecosystem it has the highest ranking industrial design school, it has a Bildmuseet, which is a world-class art museum, it has a great constellation of creative industries, both in gaming and in graphic design and marketing, and then it has large industry all the way around it. It has really good startup ecosystem. It has basically all of the components that make a really great ecosystem.
I come all the way to Umeå, which is a long way from California, because it's one of the schools that we recruit the best talent from, and we have done for several years now. We've had more than 30 students come from Umeå to IDEO, either as interns or as full-time employees, which is one of the biggest that we have. You know, it competes with universities like Stanford University or MIT or the Royal College of Art in London, and Umeå is a very important institution for us because the students are extremely high quality. This is a school that's developing really great designers.
We are kind of the general incubator, not specifically helping in a field, more of we want to help companies that are growing, who wants to go global. So we're helping from really early stage. But then we have different program and activities to kind of scan out who are we going to really put a lot of effort into. But then we have a specific one, Umeå Biotech Incubator, life science. So they have a lab, a lot of ideas from science research at university. Big Factory, Expression, and Umeå Biotech Incubator. All of these are incubators we are collaborating with them a lot. He's kind of early, Randy. He's one of our 50 companies that are accepted into the incubator.
So I arrived here 3.5 years ago to Sweden. I'm from Venezuela. I ended up arriving here, it was January 22nd, with jeans, you know, and my light jacket. And the week after was -27. So I was definitely not prepared for that. From an entrepreneurship perspective, as a startup, the cash burn rate is much lower than in Stockholm, and you have access to very smart people. So I think in general for early stage startups, it's a very interesting place to be.
We believe in doing things together. Action and collaboration untangle complexity.
We believe in curiosity and the melting pot between people and ideas.
We believe in diversity and gender equality to find new, innovative perspectives.
We believe in sustainable ideas and empowering democracy to make the world a better place.
Amazing. What a fantastic introduction to Umeå. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever you are in the world. You find us on a beautiful snowy day here in the city of Umeå in Västerbotten, here in the north of Sweden. My name's Andrew Dubber, and I am, among other things, the director of MTF Labs and Music Tech Fest. We run innovation events around the world that bring together artists and scientists, academia and industry with a global community of around 8,000 brilliant innovators. I'm also a steering board member of the Industry Commons Foundation, which is a non-profit organization that builds systems, tools, methodologies, and innovation ecosystems for cross-industry collaborations. And I'm also the host of the MTF podcast, though that's not what we're here to talk about. As you might be able to tell from my accent, I'm not actually from Umeå or even from Sweden, originally from New Zealand and then a decade in the UK. But we moved everything over here from London about 6 years ago for reasons that I think might become apparent as this conversation progresses. Now, I'm joined today, as as you can see, by just a handful of the brilliant people that go to make Umeå so special. And I want to start by introducing someone who was absolutely key to making our transition and welcome to Umeå possible. Head of Marketing for the city, Anna Olofsson. Anna, welcome. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. This is a wonderful day, the first day of winter, really, and outside it's like a Christmas card. But any day that I can speak about Umeå, it's a great day.
Fantastic. Also here is CEO of Uminova Innovation, Niels Olof Forsgren. Niels, thank you so much for being here. Just really quickly, what is Uminova?
Hi, Andrew. Thank you. Yes, Uminova Innovation is a business incubator focusing on early-stage startups and technology-based startups. And we also want them to make impact, to make a better world, as we heard in the movie. So that's our focus. Currently, about 40 startups in our incubator, so we are pretty busy.
Fantastic. Well, we're going to be talking more about Uminova Innovation, how it's central to the Umeå startup ecosystem, but I also want to bring into the conversation Professor in Organic Chemistry and entrepreneur, Fredrik Almqvist. Fredrik, it's nice to see you. Entrepreneur in what exactly?
Thanks, Andrew. Yeah, well, I'm also trying to contribute to a better world. We work on the problem of antibiotic resistance. So we develop new solutions and try to combat pathogenic bacteria. Hopefully have some contribution soon.
Fantastic. And of course, you're also teaching and researching at Umeå University.
That's for sure. Yeah, that's my base.
Fantastic. So Umeå is such a university town. It's like the Cambridge MA of Scandinavia. And that's a huge part of, I think, what makes it a fantastic place, not just for innovation, but also support for innovation. It's consistently been #1 in the world in the Red Dot rankings for design. And of course, there's world-class medical and biotech research going on here too. There is, of course, the small matter of a Nobel Prize for the discovery of CRISPR, which you may have heard something about, which kind of seems like a nice moment to bring in Nobel laureate Emmanuelle Charpentier for a few words about her work here in Umeå.
If you want really to discover something important, you need to ask maybe crazy questions. And this is really when I came to Umeå that I developed a project that was to somehow bring together two different mechanisms that became the CRISPR-Cas9 mechanism. The CRISPR-Cas9 can be explained as a Swiss Army knife that allows to repair genes. My ultimate wish would be that it's really a technology that could be used to treat serious human genetic disorders. And already there is a very nice effect of the technology in basic science, in biology and in biotechnology. So also in the plant biology field. So it's really a transformative technology. Umeå for me is very special because I owe a lot to the place that has been very inspiring for me and also for my team and my research.
Fredrik, given the nature of your work, I guess it's no surprise to you that Umeå is the sort of place where this kind of groundbreaking research in biotech happens. But what is it about Umeå you think that is important for this field in particular, do you think?
Well, to answer tough questions, you need to collaborate and be open-minded to expertise. And to me, Umeå has been amazing in that sense. I think it's the fact that it's not a very old university, so we have that attitude of we can do this together kind of attitude. And we formed a center in 2004-05, UCMR, Umeå Center for Microbial Research, and that's a bottom-up center with chemists, clinicians and molecular biologists, and you name it, more or less. And it was into this center we recruited Emmanuelle a couple of years ago, and the journey since then. So I think she really appreciated the fact that you can be open with everything, discuss everything, and be it's kind of a pot to continue with your discoveries and move on. So that's a short way to summarize it. But we are happy for each other's success, and we give applause to each other, and it's a very friendly atmosphere.
It also seems to be an atmosphere where technology transfer can take place, where you can take ideas from research and generate startups and create sort of new entrepreneurial ideas, which is something that you've done, Frederick. But Niels, what sort of support is there for innovators here in Umeå who do take those ideas and start to make new things out of them?
Yes, we have an innovation support system here in Umeå, and we have put some thoughts into it when we designed it. So we have designed it by having different incubators focusing on different things, because the business logic and business models are pretty different for a pharma company developing drugs, for example, for a digital company want to go scale fast and go to the market fast. Mm-hmm. So Uminova Innovation, which I'm responsible for, is focusing on tech startups, as I said, and we have a life science incubator, and we also have for the creative industry with art design that focus. That business logic is usually not a growing and scaling company. It's more of a you're working small companies but in a network. So that's what we're doing, and the things they need when they are growing, that's talent. And in Umeå we have around 36,000 students. We have several thousand researchers and a lot of talent in our industry. And if you look upon it, Umeå has 130,000 people, then 25% of the people are well educated and are a good talent pool to recruit from. And also you need venture money in order to grow. And we have formed a business angel company, and we have a lot of venture investors as well. But also we have investors from all of Sweden or globally that want to invest in our company. So we're pretty connected. And one thing to sort of collaborate and meet, as you was in the movie and Fredrik talked about it, we arrange a lot of meeting places, like for example Umeå Tech Arena will over 500 people coming to that type of event. And it's only not just startups themselves, but it can also be a lot of people that want to join a startup or people with business ideas. So that makes it sort of a melting pot of different themes, different disciplines, and people think it's pretty fun to try and build a company around their business idea or research. And we also try to change the culture a lot, like if you fail, that's sort of an experience, not a sort of a failure. And we promote a pay it forward mentality where people that have succeeded can pay it forward and help others that are in the early phase of their entrepreneurship.
And I know it's your job to say how great Umeå is, but of course every city is going to say that it's a city of innovation, that's a great place to have a startup or run a business. But to me, it's the culture, the lifestyle, and probably more than anything, the social equality that's been such a huge part of why I'm here. Do you want to talk a little bit about why that's so important and the history of that in Umeå?
Well, of course I can. And I would also like to say that, okay, I can brag, but I got figures behind it. Mm-hmm. When the European Union is measuring where the life quality is the highest in Europe, we in Västerbotten County is on the top, ranked as the best place in Europe. When you measure life quality out of 12 different variables. And of course, the reason I would say that we have this city that is built upon equality structures with the sort of philosophy that if you build a city that is good for women, in that case, the city is also good for kids. And if it's good for women and kids, in that case, it's good for men as well. The city is, those ideas comes, of course, out of the fact that most of the citizens are so highly educated, but also from the notion that culture is important. Umeå is a city in Sweden that puts the most money and resources into culture of all the cities. And the reason is, well, it is said that churches said that if we don't have culture, in that case, why do we even do anything? But to have equality, social progress, and culture in your support system, that creates a city with what I would like to call progressive role models. There is a huge bunch of people here who likes to make the world a better place, and that is a good place to be.
Fantastic. Frederick, I know the lifestyle thing and the family side of things here in Umeå is really big for you. I take it you weren't out on your bike in the snow this morning?
Well, you pick the days when you go by bike, right? So
yeah, for sure.
But on the other hand, it could have been possible, because one of the first things they do in Umeå is to clean up the roads for biking. So it's kind of amazing. No, I love, as you say, the easiness of being a scientist in Umeå. You go by bike, they call from daycare, and you bike there in 10 minutes, and everything is okay. So it's very easy to live here. And I'm a sports guy, and Umeå in that sense stands out as, I think, the most highly ranked city in Sweden for sports, meaning that we have so many different types of sports. So having kids growing up and they want to do things, it's easy. And yeah, there are many things to say. Since I'm also from up here, it starts to be a bit overwhelming. I love all parts of it.
Yeah, well, I was surprised earlier you mentioned that we have cricket here. I wasn't even aware of that, which goes to show that there's a fair diversity of people up here and things to do.
Yeah, that's right. One of the scientists in my research group, Paradeep Singh, he's one of the teammates in the cricket team in Umeå. So it's nice.
Brilliant. Well, we have another short video. It'd be good to show that profiles a brilliant partnership between research and industry here in Umeå. Have a look at this.
Att jobba med VR och med dataspel, det är effektivt för hjärnläkning.
Helt revolutionerande forskning från Umeå visar nu att spel i virtual reality ger stora möjligheter för alla de som drabbas av det som heter neglect efter sin stroke att återfå sin kroppskontroll. Neglect, det är ett mycket obehagligt tillstånd där personen helt eller delvis tappar uppfattningen om vad som finns på vänster sida. Något som förr ansågs vara obotligt. Men neurologen och forskaren Helena Fordell tänkte annorlunda.
Jag tänkte att om man använder modern teknologi och möter det med nya vetenskapliga rön så måste man kunna hitta ett sätt att hjälpa dem.
Och tillsammans med ingenjörer som utvecklat fordonsteknik har Helena nu lyckats utveckla en VR-metod som kan börja laga en strokeskadad hjärna efter bara 15 timmars träning.
När Helena kom till oss så såg vi direkt att vi kan hjälpa henne med visualisering och simulering. Och det är egentligen 3 olika områden som vi stödjer. Det ena är att spelutvecklingen som gör att det blir ett roligt och stimulerande rehabiliteringshjälpmedel. Det är grafikutvecklingen och det är haptiken som driver den här robotpennan som ökar läkningen och rehabiliteringen av armens funktioner.
Med hjälp av VR-teknologi så har vi sett att vi kan skapa en teknisk plattform för att personer efter stroke kan få en stimulerande träningsmiljö. Med syn, hörsel och känsel, genom att ge spelbelöningar så kan man stimulera hjärnans neuronala trafik. Där kan man rikta träningen så att man kan förstärka hjärntrafiken, att man kan ge specifika uppgifter för att stimulera fram att man återfår funktion som har gått förlorad av stroken.
Och dataspelsmetoden gör det helt enkelt möjligt för signalerna i hjärnan att hitta nya vägar. Till och med genom de skadade delarna.
Och på det viset kan personerna som har drabbats av neglect efter stroke återfå en uppmärksamhet för den sidan av världen.
Such a fantastic project. I noticed, and I guess those paying attention at home will have seen Volvo highlighted as part of that video. And I know we talk a lot about startups when we're talking about Umeå, but Umeå also has some pretty innovative big industry here. Niels Olof, is there a lot of connection between those two domains?
Yes, we focus a lot about having the larger corporations working with startups and have exchange ideas and also cooperate, and maybe they can sort of verify their business model or technology with the industry. So we actually have them in a steering group for a project we're running with them. And so that's very important. The industry need to sort of change both on the impact issue, but also when it comes to a lot of technology that's changing, and they don't have the capability to do it all themselves. And then the startups have an opportunity to work with them.
Fantastic. And I know that there's a real test bed capability within the university itself. Frederick, I know you'll be aware of the Science Center and the Fab Lab and the capability for people to try things out. Do you find that you're able to hop between what you do and, I guess, the hospital would be sort of the industry end of biotech? Is there that sort of collaboration as well?
Yeah, there is. As we mentioned earlier, we have a more specific incubators helping out for startups, and they connect very well also with the bigger parts. And for us, of course, the ultimate end is to get a product that would help someone in the clinic. So you need a lot of advice and support from clinicians if you're going to develop something for hospitals and to help people in the future. So that is very well connected. But I'm very impressed by the help we get from the life science incubator.
We keep saying the word connected a lot and talking about connections within the city, but actually it's been the city with the fastest broadband in the Western world, pretty much as long as there's been broadband. And what's been behind that, driving that, do you think?
Well, I would say that the curiosity to actually try to be innovative is at the core heart. The companies that you mentioned, for example, Volvo Trucks, they're here mostly because innovation from the roll bar was invented here decades ago, and of course the industries are still very into trying to get a grip on new technology, to be innovative, and to find the next big thing. That is it's sort of in the water here. So that is one explanation why you can see so many startups here, and also to see the number of large companies and industries that reinvest here. And of course, now we have the circular economy and Industry 4.0. So really take a high aim on being
in other places. Has that been helpful, Niels, for startups who are trying out new products or new services or new ideas, having that kind of local support for things that are kind of a little bit leading edge?
Yes, that's pretty important, and the average age in Umeå is pretty low. I think it's one of the lowest in Sweden, and that means that you have a lot of, by default, early adopters that want to try new things. And that's pretty important to be able to check out how the customer use your product very early, so you can sort of change it before you're going on a larger scale. But another thing that I think is so interesting about Umeå, we talked about the sort of the lifestyle and the life here, and me myself, I'm not from New Zealand as you, Andrew, but I grew up in Umeå, but I was on a detour for 26 years and lived in many big cities in the US and in Silicon Valley and everywhere, and worked in the computer science field. And when I came back 26 years later, I noticed a lot of things. I noticed that I saved 2 hours per day. I noticed that it's very easy to connect to people, and you have a short decisions process in the sort of authorities and everything. So you can go actually to talk to the mayor in the city and talk about what you would like to have been done. So that's extremely good. So you are in the center of the city and you go by bicycle for 20 minutes, then you can reach everyone. So the quality of life and the sort of young people that want to change and do new things, that make it sort of an interesting melting pot of everything.
Yeah, and I notice whenever there's any kind of public relations or press that people want to do, particularly about us, they want to come to Umeå and they want to take photographs and showcase us. They want to take us out to the forest and they want to have snow in the background. They want to see a moose. How kind of on the edge of wilderness is Umeå really?
Well, on one hand, it's very easy to access the nature, of course. But on the other side, it's so close to the airport that I know that most of the people, they actually take the bike to the airport. So you get sort of the best mix of two worlds. But of course, the closeness to nature and the opportunities that calm surrounding gives when it comes to coming up with new ideas, that is profound and a quality that is seldom spoken of. So the fresh air, of course, the low crime rate, and the fact that we rank so high when it comes to trusting each other. And I think that when it comes to making a good society where you actually can test new ideas and be innovative, you also have to have trust. To be able to trust the people that you're talking to, and the closeness to authorities, as Nils-Olof said.
It seems a really good balance, because you've got a city that's large enough to feel like a city, and you've got places to go and things to do and people to meet, but it is close enough where you get to know all of the important people and you get very easily connected with the networks of influence, which I think is really important. Fredrik, has that been really helpful to you here?
Oh yeah, and I just want to again stress exactly what you just said. I mean, there are pubs and fantastic restaurants, and then the next day you can take your fly fishing rod and go just 20 minutes, and you can be quite alone. So it's a fantastic mix of everything. And the flatness that Nils-Olof also mentioned. It's so easy to talk to people. I can just take up my phone and call the vice chancellor of the university, no problem at all. And I mean, it's so easy to talk to people in that way.
Yeah, and I'm aware that if I was watching this, I would have lots of questions. So we should probably find out if there are any questions that people want to ask. How do we do that?
You are just heading over to me, Andrew. Thank you so much for a great panel. And I was standing here nodding because I know Umeå so well, and it's so close to my heart. So we got a lot of praise actually in the chat room, but not that many questions. Let's see if it's adding up some right now. No. So if you have any final words to the panel, that's fine. Otherwise, I will close this session.
Well, Anna, I'm going to give the last word to you. What do you want people to take away from the session, and to know about Umeå, to sort of feel about Umeå?
Well, in the state that we can see in the world with so many obstacles that we have to solve. If anyone wants to come to a place where you can have peace of mind, to have support, a great possibility to a great lifestyle and life equality, I think they should check out Umeå.
Fantastic. And there's a website that can do that. There is a website that can do that on. innovationbyumeo.se is the place to look at. Yeah, fantastic.
You're welcome.
We're happy to hand over to you.
Perfect. Thank you so much. And that website will be on the chat soon. Thank you so much for all of you to share your stories and your Umeå. And I couldn't agree more of everything. And just wanted to add that yesterday we had 5 big corporates that were attending a workshop with Canada. And we have many of our startups from Umeå attending the meetings today. And that is actually what we are heading for now, Canada. So thank you so much, Umeå. Happy to see you, and we'll be back in Umeå soon.